Like,
They're gonna be like,
and
who?
you are always doing something. It's so funny because I personally will be like, well, how can I put this thing that I'm working on or that I'm super interested out there? And then you're always like, oh yeah, I'm working on this and I'm sharing this and so to hear you list off like, well, if we're gonna get technical, boom, 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 like here I am, jack of all trades. So it's just funny, yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I get bored very easily. And so there's a
Mm.
lot of things that I like to do and a lot of things that I like to kind of play around with. I think it's really just about play.
Introduction to the nervous system was with meditation. Your body is always in communication with your mind and vice versa.
Unique way of communicating between our body and our mind.
Somatic exercise focuses on your sense of touch. Touch is fundamental to connecting yourself with the world.
And so the list does get a little bit long sometimes, but they're
Wow,
not all
play, that's a good
happening at the
word,
same
yeah.
time. Yeah, yeah, they're not always, all in one moment. So it does seem like a lot, but I do think it's important to like have little bits and pieces where you can kind of come back around to.
The thought of creative pressure as a child, you're like, art is supposed to be fun, being creative is fun, it's play,
Hmm.
it's a practice, and this is just what it is. And it wasn't until I think towards those, you know, younger teen ages, it was more kind of around that idea of like comparison is the thief of joy. You're comparing what you're creating, and it feels more like creative pressure. And then you get a little bit older, and you're like, well, is it silly to sit in my room and do my watercolors of trees or flowers when this is going on, and I can't pretend that these things are not going on, whether they're personal life things or whether they're things that affect your community around you. And there's more of that creative pressure because you're like, this is now something that feels like a waste of time. And I feel like I'm finally getting to a part where acceptance has been a big word this couple of weeks,
Hmm.
where I'm learning to accept what I'm creating and how I'm showing up. And the way I like to think of it is, you've heard of like rejection therapy, exposure therapy. Like,
Mm.
can I practice acceptance therapy? Can I
Ooh, I love
show
that.
up fully and allow myself to be accepting of what I'm putting out, right? Not even the acceptance of everything around me, because that I'm gonna be honest, that part is the hard part. That's the hard part. I almost think in that way acceptance feels like compliance. When it's the
Mm.
inner work, that acceptance feels like a hug. That feels like that's what I need. Um, and I'm not saying that's my angle for my art project. I am saying though that I think that idea could become very important in my life as well, where um, there are things you want to accept and things you don't want to accept. And I think that ties very much to whether it's creative freedom or if it's creative pressure.